The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. Brian Haynes is here. Jeremy Greene is here as well. And we're glad you are here in the Wicked Weed studio with us this wonderful Thursday morning. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Don't forget to check out our friends. Order your beer online today or go downtown Asheville. See them down at the Original Brew Pub or any of their other three locations around the Asheville area. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. Last night was not a good night for your Denver Nuggets.
They quit. I'm with Mike Malone. They quit, and I love that he said it. You laid down like an old dog next to the radiator. And you want to go home in 4 games, more power to you.
Yeah.
Because it looked like every player on that team not named Will Barton wanted to just go the fuck home.
Yep. 123-98 Phoenix Suns with a dominating win over the Denver Nuggets last night in the second game of their Western Conference semifinal. Also today we're going to talk about what trades could be coming in the NFL over the rest of this offseason. Some big names have been talked about in this offseason about being moved. There are some more likely than others, but we'll get into that, as well as revealing the rules and the regulations and the requirements. And oh my God, it's going to be so much fun. The new Sportsocracy, the new Sportsocracy Dynasty Fantasy Football League. Yeah, we're going to include the amateurs in this as well.
Going campus camp, baby.
Campus to Canton.
I have never heard of this kind of league until yesterday, and now I don't want to play in anything else.
Yeah. This is
Jeremy went from 6 to 12 last night and started sending out several messages.
Yeah,
he was so happy.
This is going to be great. If you're not familiar with the idea, basically, it's you have
it's 3 leagues
players. Yeah, you have college players, and you have a college competitive league, and you have the professional competitive league.
It's going to require a lot of strategery. But we'll get into it in a little bit.
That's right. First off, though, of course, we are in the Wicked Weed studio. Be sure to hit the like button on all the videos here. We are now dual streaming on YouTube and on Facebook. So hit us up in the comments of either. We are glad you are with us. Once again, hit that subscribe button as well. Share it out with your friends. Our off-season review videos continuing to go out on the channel. So be sure to have that subscribe button clicked so you'll know every time new content comes out right here in the Sportsocracy. Now, the Denver Nuggets laid down last night, as we said, to the Phoenix Suns. I mean, Mike Malone had some very pointed comments at the end of this game. In fact, I mean, he called out everybody on his team except for Will Barton.
Yep.
He praised Will Barton for his effort for the first time he had been playing in 7 weeks. And then he says, well, here, I'll read you the quote. He said, Will Barton, who hasn't played in over 7 weeks, in his first game goes out there and gives you 10 and 3, and he hated me when I took him out because he had reached his minute restriction. I understand that. I just told our players it's embarrassing that a guy who hasn't been able to play for 7 weeks was out there leaving it all on the line, and I don't think anybody else did. Now, these comments come on a day, not even a full 24 hours after your star player was just named the NBA MVP.
Yeah, and guess what? He was a bag of wieners, too.
Yep.
Love him to death. Favorite player in the NBA. Sucked ass last night. It was pathetic. Mm-hmm. I mean, look, I'm on this train. I've been on this train since they got out of the playoffs last year, so I'm not jumping off now. But God almighty, it was hard to watch last night.
Yeah, it's just, I always tend to look at these things as they were 2 games in Phoenix. Phoenix is...
That's the thing to remember is that you have just held serve. It's not like you lost a game at home.
Yeah. You would have liked to have split at least one to gain back that, make sure that Game 7 was, possibly going to be played in in a better position than you were before. I'm sorry, I didn't even know where I was going with that. I apologize. Just tell me to shut up.
He's talking.
You would have liked to.
They have to win the games at home. Game 7, I think they would win in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Because that's where everything gets tight, and the only player that has experience with that's Chris Paul.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what Mike Malone has to figure out over the next 2 days is what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it was brutal.
Exactly. And I thought it was also, I don't know, it's very rare to find a coach of a successful team who has to call out his guys this way.
And I'm
say,
glad that he did.
Right,
Yeah.
but he said, what we got to do is go out there for game 3 when we get home, and hopefully I can find 5 guys who'll go out and put forth the effort.
Bingo.
That's going to make for a really good practice.
Oh, yeah. I would not want to be in Denver today.
Oh, my God. But, I with this, Phoenix has complete control of the series. All the momentum is in their favor right now. Hopefully the Nuggets can find something over the next day, because they got to turn around and play tomorrow night in Denver.
Mm-hmm. They'll be playing with more aggression for sure.
Well, I mean, they couldn't play with any less unless they showed up in a
exactly.
fucking camisole with a damn pillow and wanted to have a pillow fight.
Right.
So, I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Unless they bring their teddy bears and want to have a sleepover, they couldn't play with any less aggression than they played with last night.
That is for sure.
Right, but I mean, is this very worrisome to you and their championship hopes?
No.
Really?
No panic.
No,
button,
because
but yeah.
because I know this coach real well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Malone, I got news for you. Michael Porter Jr. shows up and plays 6 more minutes like that in the first quarter of Game 3. He won't play 6 more minutes the rest of the series.
Right.
Because it was that bad. And that's who Mike Malone is. That's the reason. One of the reasons I love this team is because of Mike Malone.
Right.
Because there is 100% pure accountability, and that's what you need in a time like this.
Mm-hmm. It also just felt like, to me, one of those nights where they missed Jamal Murray a lot.
Yeah.
It hurt not having the extra piece, but I mean, I got news for you. They could have had Michael Jordan and Oscar Robertson, and none of that shit would have mattered. As bad as every player not named, and I'll be honest with you, Will Barton didn't play particularly well.
Right.
I just at least felt like the effort was there. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Mike Malone was trying to say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was showing effort on both sides of the ball, and Mike Malone is the kind of coach that is going to
rewards effort.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like this is a team that is going to, when your coach calls you out like that, it's going to respond very well, and they're going to come out in Game 3 with a different kind of passion. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm kind of where Jeremy's at. I'm not quite hitting the panic button yet. You know, obviously, if they lose one of these games in Denver, that's going to be a different story. Mm-hmm. You know, because going down 3-1 is never a good thing in the playoffs. But this is also a team that came down from 3-1 twice last year.
They did.
So this is a team that knows that they can come back at any time. Right. And I think that kind of mindset, knowing you're down 2-0, but you know you're going back home, knowing that you've been able to do this before, can say, and then Joker, I got a feeling Joker's going to have one of those just crazy triple-double games where he scores 40, right. 14 and 10 or something.
Well, I mean, at this point, like we said, I mean, the guy hasn't. I don't even think they've given him the MVP trophy yet, and
they'll probably give it to him.
Right, they'll do it
tomorrow.
They'll do it tomorrow night before the game. It'll be all hype thing, but you know, everybody was so excited. All the news about Nikola Jokic being the MVP and the you know, the third European player to ever win it, and the second round pick, and the first guy ever drafted, you know, below 15 to win the MVP. All this talk has been about how great Nikola Jokic was this season, and then he comes out and has one of the worst games of his career, probably. Not of his career.
That's a gross over-exaggeration.
Well, the team, anyway. The team had one of the worst, worst performances that he's ever been a part of. How about that?
It was very bad.
Right. And so now he's going to dig deeper. He's gonna find that motivation for Game 3 to just go ham sandwich.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's enough. The Phoenix Suns, again, they're a team that hasn't, you know, they've never been this far. This group has never been in the playoffs. They don't have that experience. Chris Paul does, but also Chris Paul's been a part of, 3 teams that have given up 3-1 leads in the...
Yeah, that would be just so terrible if that happened to him again. God almighty. But, listen, you still have Jay Crowder, who's been in the playoffs every single year for whatever team he plays in.
Right.
You have playoff experience with Chris Paul and him. I think that helps when you have those kind of veterans
It helps,
around.
but you rely way too much on Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one saving grace that I have right now is that you are going to have to rely on two guys that have never been here before. Mm-hmm. And if the Nuggets can come out in Game 3 and just pound them, which I think they're going to have to. I think winning this by 3 is not enough. Mm-hmm. You have to come out and assert your will.
And I'm in agreement with that. If it's a kind of a close matchup in Game 3, I'd probably hit that panic. Even if they win, I'd still probably hit the panic button.
Right.
I'm going to need to see a massive showing.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be one of those games where they're up by 20 in the fourth quarter and, they make a little bit of a run and make it under 10. You can look at the game and still say, obviously Denver dominated that game, but it's serious. And the Phoenix Suns teams just keep surprising me game after game after game. And they're much better than I thought they were going to be.
I mean, they're on it, and if you lay down like the Nuggets did last night, I mean, they are going to stomp your brains out.
I mean, if you're down by 10 at the half and then you come in the third quarter and you just don't show anything, that's I think what Mike Malone was talking about was like you just laid out.
All right, I'm with Chuck. That's enough basketball.
Yeah.
There's not much to talk about in a 30-point blowout. So we got too much shit to talk about today. So onward and upward. Mike Malone getting some asses.
Right.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about the NFL offseason here.
Sure.
There are guys on teams all over the place. Teams are still looking to make some moves. We know, I guess the first one that comes to my mind that I'm kind of surprised hasn't already been moved is Zach Ertz. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see movement on that any moment.
Yep, to the Buffalo Bills.
Done deal.
Going to die on this shit. There's
Done
another
deal.
one of those shields that I'm going to die on. Because I have been told that it's the only team that has had constructive conversation about Zach Ertz in over a month.
Okay.
So that's the one to me. It makes a lot of sense. I actually think he can still be a good football player.
Yeah.
I think last year, this one's funny to me about teams that go as off the rails as the Eagles did last year. That warm poop smell that attaches to them sticks around forever. It seems like now Carson Wentz is a bum. Well, he was almost the MVP 3 years ago. Would have been had he not gotten hurt.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz sucks. Well, he was a top 5 tight end going into last year.
For sure.
Top 4.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he just sucks. He can't play football anymore.
Yeah.
I think a smart franchise is going to go get Zach Ertz for way less than you think.
And I still believe that Zach Ertz to Indianapolis probably makes the most sense to me, just for the Carson Wentz, Frank Reich history there. They have Mo Alley Cox and Jack Doyle or something like that.
Right.
I mean, their combination isn't great. It would be nice to have a veteran tight end in that locker room with them as well. Someone who Carson's familiar with, who Frank Reich's familiar with. Mm-hmm. They could save the Eagles $4.7 million, but he would still hit a $7 million cap hit, dead cap hit. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he doesn't. All implications are that he's not playing another game for Philadelphia.
No. I think that's been established long ago. I think he was the first one that they said, "Yeah, you go ahead, go look for something, see if you can find a deal anywhere that you can find it." I mean, there are teams out there that could definitely benefit from Zach Ertz.
Right.
The Chargers are one to me. The Arizona Cardinals.
I feel like the Bengals could really use someone like him as well. I mean,
I think the Bengals have had enough of hurt tight ends.
Well,
they suffered too many years with
Tyler Eifert.
Yeah. Poor Tyler Eifert.
Poor Tyler Eifert. That was one guy that I had such high hopes for.
If that guy was in the game, he was scoring a touchdown typically, but it wasn't getting that much.
Oh yeah, I mean when he played, he was great. When he didn't, yeah. Sorry about your luck.
Yeah. I just that's a pretty big piece still to be moved. I think he's still got a lot of football left in him.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Is Deshaun Watson going to be moved?
Yes.
Ooh.
And it's going to be to the Philadelphia Eagles?
This don't makes any sense to me. I keep getting told Houston would basically give him up for a bag of circus peanuts right now.
Right.
And obviously I'm being hyperbolic right there. Houston has no intention of him being the starter week 1. Mm-hmm. None. And they're not just going to sit him. Tyrod Taylor has come out and told you, I expect to be the starter.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing to come from a 32-year-old vet. Because that was a spicy. They don't do that.
Yeah.
Veteran guys don't do that unless they know something. So the question is, if it's not Philadelphia, where the hell else could it be? Don't give me Denver. I will laugh at Denver aggressively. Oh, he wants to be in Denver. That's what Kareem Jackson. Of course he said that.
Yeah.
Where's Kareem Jackson play?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that every single person on Denver outside of Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock would like Deshaun Watson to play for their team.
Yeah.
I just don't see where it would make a whole lot of sense in Philadelphia. I mean, I think they know, obviously, we've said this before, that Jalen Hurts is not going to be the future of this franchise. They have extra picks. Their front office has made some pretty big mistakes. This is a way that they could probably take the chance on Deshaun and his off-field problems.
Well, here's the thing. If they have to give up one of those picks, you still have 2.
Yeah.
You have 2 ones, and let's just say the Deshaun Watson legal thing plays out, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Now you have a 25-year-old, all-pro level quarterback.
Stud.
Yep.
With all that draft capital, with the players already on the team, and you just scrubbed the deck on the cap ledger. Mm-hmm. Yep, I think I'm gonna roll the dice on that.
Yeah.
I believe I will try that.
The trajectory of the Philadelphia Eagles franchise would be a steeper climb than it would be as it is right now.
100%.
Sure, most definitely.
Let me ask you a question. Just in theory, name me another team that makes any sense.
We've said some
Can't
teams
really.
before, but there's always but.
I mean, there's always a stretch to
like
it.
we'd say Miami's got draft capital, but they're not getting rid of Tua.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's
The
teams-
Washington football team needs a quarterback for the future. But they're fine with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and Ron Rivera is not going to want to have any part of this thing that's going on with Deshaun Watson.
Team's too good. Team's too good as it's currently stated. I don't think Deshaun Watson makes you a Super Bowl contender anyway. Well, that's
not immediately.
I don't know that he makes you much more of a Super Bowl contender.
In Miami is what you're saying?
No, in Washington.
Oh, okay.
Plus, that team's just too damn good.
Yeah.
Adam Black said, but do you see him playing with all the legal crap? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roger Goodell has made it very clear in his time as commissioner, we let the legal process play out. He won't even be deposed in any of these cases until after the season's over.
Yep.
So you get 1 year regardless.
Yeah.
I look at Philadelphia and go, yeah, I think we'll roll the dice on that.
Yeah.
A team that's just an absolute wasteland right now. Absolutely, I would roll the dice on that. But now Miami, Washington, I'll be honest with you, I even look at Denver this way. You're too good to deal with that.
Yeah.
You don't bring the circus to town if you don't have to. And I feel like that if he winds up in a bigger market, the Houston Texans are so bad that we don't talk about them outside of Deshaun Watson anyway.
Yeah.
Think about it, if Houston was a Super Bowl contender with all of these things going on, we would be talking about this every day. Mm-hmm. And the quiet on it would be driving us nuts.
Yeah.
Houston sucks, and we know it. This reason doesn't get brought up. Philadelphia has shown they can forgive guys for things.
Michael Vick.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, he'd been out of jail for about 14 seconds
Yeah.
when Andy Reid called.
Mm-hmm. And
So-
I don't think a lot of teams want that.
teams
Jonathan
that make
Willis
them-
made a good point in the comments, too. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
It's okay.
These are all civil suits.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen a player in the NFL get suspended because something happened civilly.
Right.
Criminal charges get you suspended.
Yes.
I don't see it happening with a civil case. And I'll be honest with you, I've heard that from more than one person. I'm glad a good comment, Welch. I'm glad you said that because it slipped my mind to point that out.
There is a criminal investigation. There are no criminal charges.
Yes.
Yet.
Yet.
That's the thing
And
that
that's
keeps
the
me
thing
thinking maybe teams are not going to want to do that, knowing that he's still under an active criminal investigation. We don't know. We don't know who else is going to come out. We don't know who else is going to file charges, however that process is going to work. That would be the one thing that would keep me away. Now, if I'm the Denver Broncos, I probably pull the trigger on this thing. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, it's the only thing that's going to save me from a massive embarrassment of trotting out Jalen Hurts. And then the others, like I said, the others are a stretch. You got the Washington football team. the Minnesota Vikings. They need a quarterback of the future, but they don't need this.
Chuck G said the Giants, and that would be. I don't think New York would be a place that would work out very well.
Well,
yeah.
Here's the thing. I think that what people are forgetting is
that's not a bad one to throw in.
It's kind of what Jeremy is saying when you're too good and you have this Deshaun Watson who does have some issues. What happens if this turns around and all of a sudden there are criminal charges and there is, and you just traded away some of your future for him and he's out tremendous long. You took the gamble and you lost. That loses people's jobs. That you lose your job automatically. You make the trade for Deshaun Watson and all of a sudden these civil charges turn into criminal charges and then you're completely screwed. And I think that's what a lot of it is saying. Philadelphia seems like the only place where that's the chance you're willing to take.
Yeah. And that's one side of the coin. Then there's the other side of the coin, which is what if it all goes away?
Yeah. And
if it all goes away and you got an all-pro 25-year-old quarterback for a 1 and a conditional 3.
Yeah.
A guy we were talking about 4 1s and a young quarterback for not 3 months ago.
Yep.
Now they're building statues of you out in front of the building.
Exactly.
And you have a job for the rest of your earthborn life.
It's the biggest roll of the dice.
It's a huge coin flip. You don't know. And I would be leaning to the side of right now as just the outside looking on it that it doesn't seem to be going in the direction of him getting criminal charges. It seems it's been so quiet that it just seems like I feel like he's going to get suspended for a few games for the player conduct, whatever thing that is. So what happens? Maybe he gets suspended for like 4 games. I'll take Deshaun Watson for.
All right. So here would be if I'm Howie Roseman. All right. Let's just say, just for shits and giggles, let's say I decide to make this deal. What's the longest he gets suspended for? Year. Let's say it's a year.
A year.
Yeah.
Let's say it's a year.
That'd be the max.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a year. 2 years from now, I have a 27-year-old all-pro quarterback that I'm not paying nearly market value for.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a team that.
I mean, look, I'm not casting aspersions on the personal problems and the legal issues. I don't know. I've said this on the show 100 times. I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
Don't claim to be one, and I'm not a judge. So if a decree comes down, that is when I will judge somebody.
Yeah.
I've seen too many of these go one way, too many of these go the other way. I'm just not going to do it. I feel like it's disingenuous for me to say, I know he did that. Well, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So,
and we've kind of all of us have kind of agreed that Philadelphia's kind of punting on the season as it is. So that's a perfect situation where they're basically saying, oh, well, we'll let Jalen go out there, show the fan base that he sucks, and now we got Deshaun in the wings, and he can be the perfect backup quarterback to Deshaun Watson because you don't have to change the play. He would be a good he would be a good backup quarterback in Philadelphia, I think.
The question you have to ask yourself as a GM of any NFL franchise right now who's in the Deshaun Watson market, you have to ask yourself, do I think he plays this year?
yes, there's no doubt he plays this year.
No doubt. So that's gonna sway me. That's gonna make me think, you know what? He is gonna play this year. And there's let's say maybe I even feel a little confident that all this is just gonna blow over. There's going to be settlements, the criminal investigations.
I don't think you
not
have
to
to
go
feel
anywhere
confident about that, though. You said this gets you fired. All right, let me. It's a hypothetical.
Yeah.
Let's say you give up your Philadelphia. You give up your 1 this year, knowing full well he's going to play this year. Right. All right, we'll give you our 1 this year, and it's 22, and they take some defensive tackle out of TCU. That doesn't get you fired. That doesn't get you fired.
Well, I think
and then it's a 3, and we rolled the dice. And by the way, we had an 11-6 year and won the division with him. Because I'll be honest with you, that's the team I would pick to win the division with Deshaun Watson.
I guess maybe what I was saying was more of if all of these civil charges come out and it ends up being everybody ends up being criminal. I'm talking not just that there's.
Well, that's not going to happen.
Well, that's.
They basically already churned through a bunch of these and said, we're not going to pursue criminal charges.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's not, I don't know if that's widespread knowledge. But,
right.
A little secret time with me.
We don't know how many of those there are, but there are some. They have already said
there are a lot of
there is not enough evidence in many of these cases for us to press any charges.
And I was saying this kind of if that turns, and I know that's a huge turn, but my thinking was where it wouldn't just be a year thing; it would be more of that. more than that. And that's because if you're only wasting a year, to be honest with you, there's a lot of teams that should take that possibility.
But I don't know if so maybe the Houston Texans. First, so just giving up one first-round draft pick and maybe, what did you say,
Conditional 3. It's exactly what it would be. The deal as it's currently stated, they're not going to get better than a 1 and a conditional 3.
And
that's where it sits. I've been told that literally by people that are from coast to coast in this country. That is what it would be.
Yeah.
And nobody else is coming off more than that. So if Houston's adamant they're going to deal it, which all indications are that they are. They're dead set. We're going to deal him because we're not going to deal with this. We overplayed our hand. I'll be honest with you. You're talking about getting fired. I don't see a path where Nick Caserio doesn't get fired within 2 years for this.
Oh, wow.
Because you were so adamant, we're not going to do it. We're not going to trade him. He's our guy. And literally you went from this package to this package in 3 months. You cost yourself, you're probably at a third. That's what the value on Deshaun Watson is right now.
So we believe that Nick Caserio is an idiot, right? We're pretty much under that assumption.
No, I think
he was stalwart enough not to take anything, to refuse any big package. Says we're going to hang on to him. This comes out, then his value tanks. Now that things appear to be, because we had a story, 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago. There was a story that all of these are going to get settled pretty soon.
Yeah.
That's the expectation. So now Nick Caserio's holding on to him again, waiting for the value to go back up.
Well, the problem is it better get settled in the next month, because if he's on the roster a month from now, you have a problem. A big, big fuck problem. Because you got a guy that may just not show up.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, he will 100% show up. Deshaun Watson's not putting his body through sitting behind that offensive line to throw to those weapons. Again, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So, Nick Caserio, you can want one hand shit and the other, see which one fills up faster.
Right.
Houston's bad, and everybody in the league knows it.
And when you talk about that conditional third, that could turn into a one with playing time, right? Is that what it would be?
Yes. So basically, what I was told is that it would be you get the one that would probably be Phillies, and because the other two they have are Indianapolis, which is in the 20s.
Yeah.
Who's the third one they have?
Dallas.
Dallas, who a lot of people assume is going to be in the 20s. Houston would roll the dice on maybe he gets popped and doesn't play, because if he doesn't play, that's a top 6 pick in the draft. And then you have the conditional that's basically tied to playing time over the course of the next 2 years.
Okay.
So it would be fulfilled. He could miss 1 year, be back the next year, and it's still fulfilled back to another one.
Okay.
That's how it was explained to me. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. But that's what I had this explained to me very slowly with pictures. there was a very nice sketch, of which I'm very appreciative of.
So where does Deshaun Watson rank on your list of most likely to be traded? He's number 1?
Oof.
Wow. Even ahead of Zach Ertz, who is
1,
already...
2, and 4, actually. The thing with Zach Ertz is I can see a path where they cut him. I see there is no path that Deshaun Watson has to happen. Kelvin Joyner asked in the comments, does San Francisco send a Jimmy, a 1, and a conditional third for Watson? San Francisco wouldn't do it. You're too good, and you're asking for too many things. Plus, Trey Lance is already there. There's way too many issues with that.
And I think at this point, there's no path. Everybody knows that San Francisco's either going to keep Jimmy or they're going to cut him after the deadline because of the $25 million cap. So they can he's just going to get cut anyways.
I really wish I could put my phone, the screen of my phone on the computer to put on the screen to show you the text that basically explained this to me. I can't remember the verbatim, but it was basically think of teams that are bad that would be good with him. That's all that's going to be interested.
Yeah.
Any team that can sell to the fan base, we're 11-6 this year, they're out. That's Washington, that's San Francisco, that's Miami. You have to look at a team that's just dog shit. But with him, they would be much better. Philadelphia is the only team that seems to fit that for me. Maybe I'm missing one. I don't buy Denver, and I never have. Denver's a different town. It's just the state of Colorado is different. I don't think they would be as warm and inviting to somebody that has these accusations.
Yeah.
Whether they're founded or not, I can't confirm. I just don't think Denver would be as warm and fuzzy to that. And I don't feel like George Payton is going to tie his legacy to that.
Yeah, for sure.
So who's next on the list?
For me, Jamison Crowder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jamison Crowder's not going to be a New York Jet.
The $10 million is big.
Oh, I mean, it's big. They're going to roll the money forward. There's all the things. Here, the biggest thing, they're shocked at how good Elijah Moore's been.
Yeah.
They loved him. They love him even more now. And by the way, Braxton Berrios has been real good too. I've always had a theory, and you laugh at that.
Because it's,
he's caught everything thrown at him.
Yeah. Of course.
Here's the thing: when you look at things in camp, when you're at this point of the NFL schedule, what you have to look at is what is the team trying to get you to see, because social media is a tool that NFL teams use to cushion the blow. Right now, the Jets are showing you nothing but clips of Braxton Berrios catching passes on the sideline, Keelan Cole perfectly thrown balls from Zach Wilson, and Elijah Moore. All three of those guys play the same position.
Yeah.
And it's the position Jamison Crowder plays. I think there will be a team.
The Bears make a lot of sense to me.
That's one of them that makes all the sense in the world to me is the Bears.
And it could maybe work out where Crowder goes there. Maybe Nick Foles comes back in that some sort of trade. Obviously, Chicago's going to have to eat a bunch of the Foles money. You know what I mean?
all of it.
That's the thing, is that does make sense.
It does.
It makes sense that Foles comes back with a draft pick, Chicago eats some of the money, the Jets eat some of the Jamison Crowder money, and they just swap them. Because it makes too much sense, which is why it's not going to happen.
Yeah, right?
Things that make too much sense in the NFL almost never happen.
And actually, I would like Jamison Crowder in Chicago a lot. I think that gives them an extra little... I would like their team a lot better, honestly. I mean, I think they have pieces. They're moving forward. I mean, I'm still not sold on Justin Fields' first year or second or third, possibly, but maybe. But that's just one thing that I could see happening too, for sure. I don't know how many other teams. There's been some talk. Los Angeles Chargers, the Gold Chargers, go!
They like Jalen Guyton too much.
Yeah, and that's.
I think if they were going to be in on anybody, it would have been Ertz. And from everything I've heard, they haven't been in quite some time. Because they signed Jared Cook. There are just certain players in the NFL that just the sound of the and I have nothing against Jared Cook. I've always heard he's a wonderful human being. But my God, get out of the way of Donald. It's Donald Parham time.
Yes. Screaming it from the hilltops, Jeremy has for several years now.
Who else could be in the Jamison Crowder sweepstakes here?
A team that makes sense? Let's see.
Washington.
I've thought Washington. The problem is it's hat on a hat with Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
Because he does play exclusively in the slot. I'm going to tell you one, and it's going to sound a little outlandish. Green Bay Packers.
I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it at all. Because he's so good in the slot.
He's so reliable. He is year after year, he's the most probably underrated slot receiver we have in this league.
And that could be
another bridge.
That could be a bridge to okay. I mean, because this is a reliable slot guy. It would improve the wide receiver room vastly.
Yeah.
For me, anyway, with the Green Bay Packers, I mean, aside from Devontae Adams, we all know what they have. It's just a whole bunch of dudes, and half of them can't catch. So, giving them Jamison Crowder would make a lot of sense. Minnesota could use a third receiver.
Yeah, the problem is Thielen runs out of the slot so often.
Yeah,
that's what you have to look at is who's missing the slot guy. And the Seattle Seahawks had made sense to me too.
Really? You don't think Tyler Lockett and Eskridge are going to kind of...
Lockett can play on the outside.
Yeah.
Lockett's so damn fast, he can do anything you want him to. He's just a reliable... he's going to catch everything thrown his way.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose Jamison Crowder. I just know my team is trying to tell everybody that listen, he's not here for a reason.
Yeah.
Jamison Crowder's not at Jets camp, and that's not because he really doesn't want $10 million.
Yeah.
The narrative's been spun of, they're trying to rework the deal. No, the Jets are telling him, you stay the hell at home unless you're willing to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
Two other teams I want to talk about that have been linked to wide receivers. One, San Francisco 49ers.
Doesn't fit that scheme really super well.
Okay.
It's not terrible, but that's a lot of hat on a hat because Debo plays in the slot. Ayuk can play in the slot. That one doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Robert Johnson said in the comments, the Colts, that one makes infinite sense to me. Because all of their guys can play on the outside. Jamison Crowder's the one guy, would be the one guy that can only play in the slot.
How about the Baltimore Ravens?
Doesn't fit the scheme at all. Not nearly a good enough blocker. He would be a tip-off point every time he was on the field.
Okay.
He's not a bad blocker. He's just 5'9".
Yeah, and I would say
they already have one of those.
Yeah, I would say someone like the Patriots, but I don't think they would go in division with that kind of thing.
Nope. The New England made 2 trades with us in the draft last year, and we trade banged them every time.
Trade banged them.
Yeah. You ever been trade banged? It's fun in fantasy football. Speaking of fantasy football, we'll be unleashing our fantasy football league momentarily.
Yeah.
That's right. Xavier Howard saw his name mentioned
Bullshit.
because of the contract issue.
Bullshit.
He's not making enough money.
And I'll say the same thing to Chandler Jones. Teams that are making runs at Super Bowls don't trade all pro level players just because your contract is too onerous. No. I've said this a billion times. The salary cap in the NFL at this point is like points and whose line is it anyway? It's because the dollars are made up and the dollars don't matter.
Right.
So, no, I don't buy Xavier Howard at all.
How about Stephen Gilmore?
That one I buy a little bit more. Because I don't envision Bill Belichick losing a guy that's that good for nothing. Plus, they have about 500 corners in on that team.
And that this is the thing that they do. This is
I
what
think
he
Bill
does.
knows they're not a legitimate contender right now. Stephon Gilmore's only signed for 1 more year, and he will walk because they pissed him off aggressively.
And
last year.
this is exactly what they do. They get rid of a guy a year early to get the best from them. I mean, it's history points to at least 5 guys I can name off the top of my head.
Right.
So, and he would be. That's a huge grab for a team. Any contending team right now, you add a Gilmore to their team. Oh man, that is a huge upgrade. A team like the Arizona Cardinals would make a lot of sense. Losing Patrick Peterson, they didn't really, we talked about how they didn't address it as much as we thought they would in the draft.
Right.
At cornerback, I mean, that would make a lot of sense to me. But he would be an upgrade for a lot of places.
I mean, he's a superstar corner in this league, and everybody should be in on him.
Yeah, he's a defensive player of the year.
I think the number of teams that should not be,
Yes.
it would be that would be the story here. The teams that don't need him.
Stephon Gilmore?
Yes.
No, that's not true. There's 6 maybe that would be in on Gilmore.
That's
You're
it.
not going to pay that money to a 32-year-old corner that you know is walking out the door in a year.
Yeah.
Because he expects to get paid again. I would say the market on him would be the Cardinals. I'll go with the Cardinals. God, it gets bleak after the Cardinals. The Cardinals, maybe the Chargers.
That would be nice.
Because nobody's making this move if they're not contenders.
No, you have to think you're a Super Bowl contender.
You're a Super Bowl contender,
right
and
now.
you're going to get him for a year and lose him. So you're basically renting him for a year to make a run at the Super Bowl. So I don't know.
Oh, how about your Raiders?
That makes sense, but they're not contenders.
No.
And they know that.
Yeah.
Playoff contenders, yes. Super Bowl contenders, no.
Right. So you're saying just a Super Bowl contender?
I think to do this for a year because it would cost probably a 2 or a 3 to get him. Probably a 3.
How big could his next contract be, though?
Bigger than you think.
Really?
Yeah, and he's and the days of him being that premier shut down Revis Island level corner, that's done.
Yeah.
That's not a thing anymore.
And you still think somebody's going to give him what?
$15 million.
$15 million for a 33-year-old corner?
On a 4-year deal. Absolutely. 3-year deal.
Yeah.
3 years.
Probably 3 years. Yeah. Here's a name that's been thrown out there at least for the last couple years, obviously, but David Njoku from Cleveland. Not that he's not lived up to expectations, but he hasn't necessarily been in the greatest positions. Now they have Austin Hooper, they have Harrison Bryant. There's several people there.
Yeah, they have a glut at tight end, and it hasn't made sense to me for 2 years now.
That he hasn't been shipped off.
Why they haven't capitalized on
And I know
his value.
he got hurt right when he was starting to, I think, really kind of start to progress a little bit. But a team that I would think would be really all in on someone like that, the Carolina Panthers. I think that would be a definite upgrade from what they have. Although they did draft Tremble.
I don't know. There's a lot of good news about Ian Thomas.
I'm telling you, I said that the other day on the thing. There's a lot coming out about Ian Thomas. But again,
watch your social media.
Yep.
It will tell you a lot of what your team wants you to know.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Tank said something on the ESPN show yesterday of, oh, well, do you think the social media teams work? Yes, I do. I 100% do. Because this is one of the things that drives trade value and shit like that.
Yeah.
They're trying to push a narrative. Every team wants to give you some reason to be buying tickets, to be in the stadium. Not that they give a fuck about ticket sales, because every team in the league is going to sell out 75% of the tickets at the minimum.
100%.
So it's not like they really give a shit, but they do want to give the fan base something to be excited about.
Yeah. Now, do you think that the Carolina Panthers are putting that out there about Ian Thomas because they would like to trade him, or that they're just...
He has no trade value.
Yeah.
The thing you have to understand about positional players in the NFL... guys that were superstars are fetching 2s. So mediocre players, you're getting conditional 6.
Yeah.
The pink swaps at the end of it's just brutal.
Yeah. But that would be, I don't know, that's just another name out there. Another one that Pro Football Focus has out there would be that after drafting Kyle Pitts, that Hayden Hurst might be on the move, but I could see them more keeping him.
No, they're going to keep him. He's got to be the blocker.
And then,
somebody has to block somebody.
Yeah, you have to have a tight end that can block.
N'Keal Harry from New England.
No way.
I don't think that's happening.
Bill Belichick's not going to admit he was wrong that quickly.
Yeah.
Would he even have value?
No. 6. You get a conditional 6 out of him. If he doesn't make the roster, nothing.
Yeah, that's about the only guy.
That's where N'Keal Harry is.
Yeah.
The only other one they have here is that Bradley Roby from the Texans, the cornerback. He could save them $8 million.
Let me put it this way. Anything that's not bolted to the floor in Houston is available. They'll give you 100 stadium seats for the right price.
Right. If it's got any type of value, they will definitely ship that out. Yeah. We are going to have a lot of fun this year playing fantasy football.
Hold on. We gotta talk about ball shaving first.
Oh, yeah.
Here,
Let's talk about your balls.
You stay where you were. I got this.
You got the script pulled up?
No, but I can do this really quickly, and we have a lot of shit to talk about. With Father's Day right around the corner, and we all had the same first home. Your father's balls were your first home. And it's time for a long overdue housewarming present for your first home. Go to manscaped.com, use promo code Sportsocracy, get 20% off your entire order, plus free shipping around the world just by using our code Sportsocracy. We all know that Dad could use a little male grooming advice. Mm-hmm. All of them, including me as a dad and him as a dad. And all of us in this room actually as dads could use a little male grooming advice and a little help and some products from manscaped.com. Go to Manscaped today, use our promo code Sportsocracy and get 20% off just for using our promo code. Manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you.
That's right. 20% off and free shipping worldwide.
Oof.
Don't forget that.
I will pay more just for free shipping, and here you pay less and still get free shipping. It's the Amazon of your balls.
Yeah.
The Amazon of your... And
to
if your
keep
balls
it from
look like
being
the Amazon, you need the Lawnmower 4.0.
Yeah.
Bam!
Boom, right here. It is the elder statesman of our set here. There's the weed whacker, the nose hair trimmer, and a little bit of an ear hair trimmer. I don't know if maybe you're closer to my age. Long hair starting to pop out there.
A little bit, right?
Not only that,
right
but your dad. Sometimes you got to look at your dads, and you're like, Dad, come on, let's get rid of that hair on the ears. Let's sharpen that up a little bit. Yep. Perfect Father's Day gift, 100%.
Plus, they have things that are not ball related if you don't want to have that uncomfortable conversation with your dad.
Right.
Maybe you get something for your dad, the weed whacker for the ear and nose hair, and then maybe you just elbow mom and go, hey, here's the website.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this.
You have that conversation.
I'm going to tell you this. I was wearing the Manscaped t-shirt yesterday. That's one of the softest damn t-shirts I've ever had on my body.
Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, even if you're just going to get a t-shirt just to show your support for us here at the Sportsocracy, get the t-shirt. And don't forget, use the promo code Sportsocracy at manscaped.com, 20% off your purchase and free worldwide shipping. All right.
Michael Whiteside, our hero, the first one to use the Manscaped promo code at manscaped.com, promo code Sportsocracy. Anybody else that does that, feel free to let us know, and we will shout you out every time we do this promo as well.
Indeed, it is time to talk some fantasy football. We got the Dynasty Draft, the Dynasty League of the Sportsocracy is going to be coming very, very soon. And how did you even stumble upon this campus to Canton idea?
I did a lot of research on different ways to play fantasy football. I have never actually heard this idea before.
Yeah.
So here's the premise, the broad strokes of exactly what this is. Basically, it will be a 24-team field because we're not doing 45-man rosters, which is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
There will be an initial draft. The initial draft will have NFL players, it will have college players. All in the same draft. So if you pick at 1 and you want to take Spencer Rattler, you can. If you want to bulk up your college team, you can do that. If you want to take Pat Mahomes, you can do that as well. It's all in the strategy. So it's 26-player rosters with a 6-player taxi squad. We're malleable on all of these rules, by the way. This is an initial unveil, and anybody that's ever done this, anything like that, we will take advice. We will take all of the things. So we will go through the whole draft. If you have a college player on your team, when they get drafted in the NFL, they go to your NFL team. Mm-hmm. That's a fun little piece of strategery that I don't 100% know what to do with.
Yeah.
If you want to bulk up your college team with a bunch of guys like De'Aaron King, you can do that. Problem is they're going to go to the league and they're not going to be very super advantageous to you.
Right.
There's no problem with that.
Yeah.
You still win the same level of prize for winning the college game that you do winning the NFL game. Uh-huh. So there's a little strategery there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to kind of choose which path you want to go on. Do you want to stack up your NFL roster and then kind of have a little bit of a lesser college program, but guys that could possibly be drafted into the NFL later on? I mean, there's a strategery in that because, like a guy, Jeremy was saying this, for example, and they don't use FCS, but just say like a Tyler Shuck, for example, plays for Texas Tech, the quarterback. He's going to put up crazy numbers. Is he going to pan out to be an NFL quarterback that's playing, starting every day? It's out there still. We don't know that. Right. That remains to be seen. So, are you drafting that guy that could possibly be drafted in the NFL? Or are you drafting because you want to bulk up your college? Or do you want to bulk up your NFL team? There's so many things on this that are lovable.
You got to find the good mixture between the two to have competitive teams in both. I don't think, it wouldn't really behoove you to lean one way or the other. Well, I mean,
it would 100% behoove you to lean one way or the other.
Well, sure. I mean, if you went full on on your college team, win the college league, then those guys progress to the NFL level. You're putting off success.
You have to look at a guy like
professional level.
You got to look at a guy like Tyler Shuck. All right, so Tyler Shuck was quarterback at Oregon. Uh-huh. This is a guy that a lot of people like me think will be the third quarterback drafted in next year's draft. Well, he just transferred to Texas Tech. So this is a guy that can have value on both sides. So he should have a ton of value in this league. The fun of this is going to be that every team has every team will have 3 people attached to it. Mm-hmm. One of you will run the college team, one of you will run the pro team, and then we're going to do a combo that the third owner runs.
Yeah.
You pick the lineup. So, yes, you are working with 2 other people to determine who's on your roster and things like that.
Yeah.
When it comes to how it's sectioned out, one individual one of you will have access to how the lineup is done. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. Did I make that make sense?
Huh.
Because there's a third one that's a combo.
I don't know that I like that. I don't know I like that. I mean, what if one of your guys is busy? He's supposed to be the one that's setting the lineup. Then you have no ability to set the lineup yourself.
No. You still have the ability.
Yeah.
There's one person that's going to have let's say it's the 3 of us.
Right.
I'm setting the pro team. You're setting the college team. He's doing the combo. That's your team. So however you want to do it, that's totally up to you.
Right.
But that's the way that the responsibility is divvied.
Yeah.
If 3 guys come together and say, hey, let him set the lineup, I don't give a damn.
Right.
That's totally up to you.
If I'm busy and I can't do it, hey, Tank, can you make sure you take care of that for me?
Yeah, okay, all right. I thought
you're still working together, but you're basically going to have control of one of each of those little sections out.
I ain't giving you my sign up to do the lineup.
What are you talking about, dude?
Screw you, dude.
Dude, when's the last time you've done anything in fantasy?
He traded Christian McCaffrey for A.J. Green.
I did that one time.
Not as long ago as you'd like it to be.
I should not be talking anything on fantasy.
I mean, it was about as long as possible ago. Yeah. It was 4 games into his career.
Yeah. Coming soon, we're going to unveil how horrible my dynasty football team is, and it is going to be basically an hour-long. Everybody gets to pick on my ass because it is so horrible that I'm looking at a basic 3-year rebuild before I'm relevant again.
I love this though. I just started playing college fantasy football like I think 2 years ago. Yahoo just added it out of the blue, and somebody sent me an invite. It's so much fun. Now, they only do FBS teams. They only do Power 5 teams.
So this is every FBS player.
Every FBS player. Okay.
There's a caveat that I'm glad you brought up. FCS players like Trey Lance, they go into a special draft because there are no FCS players. So you can't find, I'm trying to think, James Madison, who runs 5 bajillion times a game.
Right.
You can't have their guys. Now, if those guys get drafted, then you can draft them in a special draft.
Yeah. Nice.
I love this idea.
It is a great idea. Playing college fantasy football, I mean, that's where I first fell in love with his name just went out of my head. Taylor, the running back for Jonathan Taylor.
Oh yeah.
I had him from Wisconsin, and just
he puts up some points.
Amon-Ra St. Brown as well. Fell in love with him at USC.
It's
a different way to appreciate the game, and a different way to be involved. Saturdays and Sundays is now a full weekend adventure.
And it also helps, for our time, for especially someone like us, gets to know these college players a little bit more going into their draft, which is going to kind of get entwined with the NFLDraft.net that Jeremy's going to be unveiling as well. So this all can be all-encompassing on all these levels, and we can all be just the smartest people in every room we walk into.
Well, the cool thing, there's multiple cool layers of this. One is that it gives you a reason to intimately follow the college game.
Yeah.
It also gives you a reason to be deep divey on the NFL, because you are going to have to be very knowledgeable to be good at this. It also gives you a reason to befriend 2 people that you probably don't already know. And we're going to have you guys doing interviews and all kinds of shit that are going to be fun. And I have scoured the interwebs to find anybody else that's ever done this. I cannot find one.
So there is for me, I just, Jeremy sent me a text message last night, but I didn't know much about it. I just kind of scoured over it. I went this morning and just Googled campus to Canton, and there's actually somewhere that actually walks you through the whole process of this. If you can get past the accent, it's perfectly good for you.
Oh, yeah. The accent is brutal. And that's coming from me.
And I'm coming from a New Yorker. It's pretty bad, but mine isn't as bad. The upstate's not too bad.
It is.
I do want to shout out that because Michael Vick said it, or Michael Vick.
Michael Vick.
Kevin Vick said it in the comments. Me and Tommy actually ran into Kevin Vick yesterday during our sales call. It was pretty neat. Out of the whole entire city of Charlotte, we run into one of the guys that watches our shows while he's having some lunch.
Yeah.
It was real good. He said earlier that we clean up real well when we're on our sales calls.
Right.
So, that was nice.
None of us look as slovenly. The only problem is that when I do sales calls, I still have a mullet.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm cutting my hair off today. It's going to be aggressive.
God.
It's going to be an aggressive cut, and you might actually see me without a hat tomorrow just to show off all my beautiful looking face.
You might see me without a hat, too.
Armchair Commentary says he's already in a Dynasty League, so he can't be in our Dynasty League.
Well, that's just unfortunate.
Well, that's just...
I'm in
That's
3.
not how any of that's supposed to work.
Yeah,
you're supposed to have 12 fantasy teams, aren't you?
I want the buzzer. What's the buzzer? Where's the buzzer?
Oh, Brian has finally asked how the board works. There it is.
Yeah.
No, Armchair Commentary. No.
And another thing that should be pointed out, Adam Black said, wish there was a DFS season-long league. There is. It's called Best Ball. We're going to do some of that, too.
Ooh,
I am negotiating with one of the DFS providers to get a promo code for all of you guys to match your deposit, even if you already have an account.
Ooh.
They're all so big that they could really give a rat's ass less.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find something beneficial for you.
But that's not how best ball works. What he's talking about is setting the DFS a lineup every week, and it keeps track of standings. Who's leading
Armchair
who.
just said he's in a dynasty, never said he wouldn't do ours, and then he called you a jabroni, which is why he's one of my favorite people on earth.
The sheik. The Iron Sheik said
I just figured that was the only reason that he would bring up I'm already in a dynasty league, that he wouldn't do ours.
No, because there was people bouncing back and forth saying I've never done a dynasty.
Oh, okay.
See, Tank doesn't keep up with the comments so good.
I just can't.
He don't read no well.
Yeah, I'm literally bouncing back and forth between 2 different services, and one of them is shared in about 97 different places, so I have to keep bouncing back and forth to see comments. Mm-hmm. Thank you, notifications. If they ever disable notifications, I am screwed.
So Armchair says you can set a league in DFS.
You can.
I never knew you could do that.
Yeah, it's best ball.
Yeah. That means your whole entire roster scores points every day.
Not exactly. Best ball is your best lineup is played every week. I just started doing best ball last year, and I'm going to be honest with you. There are very few things in DFS that I've ever said that I suck badly at. Best ball is one of them.
Yeah.
I was bad. It was bad. Shit.
Jeremy's is one of my favorite things.
All right. Anywho, coming up tonight, we got.
Hold on, before we move off of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be attaching all of this. All of the fantasy football content will be on the Patreon. Anybody that subscribes at a $9.99 level or higher will be included in this automatically. We're going to run some contests for over the ESPN Radio show, over this show, for free entries if people want to do that. There's going to be a lot of people in those. So if you want to definitively know you're in, that's the way to do it. Mm-hmm. It's not a money grab at all. It's $200 a year to run the league because we switched the service that we're using because there's only one that will do this. And frankly, I don't want to break out spreadsheets and abacuses, mainly because I don't know where you buy an abacus. Is there an abacus store?
I'm sure you can find one at Goodwill or something.
Find one at Walmart.
If there's any abacus shoppers out there, please let us know.
I feel like that's an Amazon purchase.
100% down.
Definitely an
Amazon's
promo code TANK, TNK.
I really want one of our promo codes to be tanked, just because how many times he said tank, and it would give us a reason to spell them both out.
Yeah.
Because between the three of us, taint and tank sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I noticed this. I don't remember which one of you said taint the other day. Somebody said that word on the show, and I realized it happened like twice, and I went, that sounds like they're saying Tank's name.
I think
there's an irony in that.
I think Tank said something about shaving his taint, and I almost threw up on my computer.
The taint. It's got to be shorn with manscaped.com. Use promo code Sportsocracy. Get 20% off your purchase of the Lawnmower 4.0 and others today.
Yep.
And get free worldwide shipping.
Indeed.
We're worldwide.
Nothing like a shorn taint.
Yep.
My grandpappy told me that. Coming up tonight in the NBA, we got Brooklyn Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks. It's a 7:30 game. Of course they are. I have no faith. I have zero faith in the Milwaukee Bucks. One, to be able to come back and win this series, and I'm doubting whether or not they're going to be able to do anything tonight.
Nope.
Against the Brooklyn Nets.
Let's play a fun game.
Yeah.
What is the line in Brooklyn, Milwaukee tonight?
It better be Brooklyn -2.
All right, you say Brooklyn -2.
I'm going to say Milwaukee -3.
You're exactly right. It's Milwaukee. Well, almost exactly right. It's Milwaukee -3 in the hood. Uh-huh. And guess what? Hadn't moved a fucking inch.
Wow.
It's been that for a full day. Yeah. 93% of the money is on Brooklyn. 45% of the side is on Milwaukee.
Oh.
Just throwing that out there. Huh. Just throwing it out there.
So you're going to be on Milwaukee?
100%. Give me Milwaukee -3.5.
All right. This is our this is our Green on Green segment, since we're not going to be on ESPN Asheville this afternoon due to Atlanta Braves Day baseball.
Ooh, get you guys the full day?
Yeah, we'll be here the full day, cranking out some new material. I think Caleb and I are going to do a Speedocracy. I think Brian and I are going to talk about baseball, since we can't get this one to talk about it at all.
Because baseball.
And there's a huge scandalous going on right now.
She's so scandalous. She's so scandalous. Okay. Sorry.
What the hell was that?
It's a good song.
Not sure. So your first pick of the night from Jeremy is the Bucks to cover the 3.5. Clippers take on the Utah Jazz at 10 o'clock tonight. And Utah, I will stand on Utah and say they are going to continue to just grit out this series.
There was a lot of people out there that were saying, Greene kept saying yesterday on ESPN Radio that it was probably the best loss of the playoffs in the Clippers domain because they didn't give up and they were coming off Utah had all the rust and all that stuff. I disagreed wholeheartedly because I believe Clippers just gave them their absolute best shot and they
without Mike Conley and they still lost.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at, and I'm like, man, the Clippers came. We called out the Clippers and said that they were done after 2 games in Dallas. They showed some heart. I don't know. I mean, Kawhi's got to have crazy games every single game.
There are just a few things that are universal truths. You date the stripper, you don't marry her. You never eat gas station sushi. You never drink the water in Tijuana, and you never trust Paul George on the road.
Yeah,
especially not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
Utah minus the 3. The thing I like a lot is over 222.
Yeah.
Over.
I always thought it was never waste a boner.
That's a good one.
Never trust a fart.
Also a good one.
Never play cards with a guy with the last name of a city in it.
Yeah, also a good one.
And never trust a girl with a tattoo of a dagger somewhere on her.
all good.
Those are all good.
Yep.
Everything else is pretty much cream cheese.
Also, don't trust a woman who has the letter I in place of the letter Y.
Yeah. Like Brandy and then Lynn. Like Brandy Lynn or Lynn. Or,
yeah. Hey, any woman that goes by 2 names also is good.
Oh, wait.
I've been married to 2 of those.
His wife has got...
What?
I fully endorse women with names that end in I. They're a fine bunch of women.
I said I in place of Y. Andy as a woman's name always ends in I. Andy as a dude's name ends in Y. You ever met a dude named Andy whose name ended in an I? Because I haven't. Ever met a woman who spelled her name like
they
Andy?
have typically been transformed, so to speak.
That's right. I endorse the I on the end of the names, and I stand by that.
Hey, look, one of my rules was always be scared of double E, and I'm married to one. And it worked out quite nicely.
Really
it continues
nicely.
to.
Very true.
Do we have a monkey knife fight tonight?
Yes.
Yeah, our Monkey Knife Fight play of the night.
Free money, folks.
MonkeyKnifeFight.com is the website. Use the promo code TANK, T-A-N-K, at MonkeyKnifeFight.com. Create yourself an account today. When you do and make your initial investment, they will match it up to $50, and they will also give you a $5 free play, which you can use on tonight's game.
I am playing the more or less 3x multiplier. This is the early one where the lines have not moved. I'm going over 30.5 points for Donovan Mitchell, over 27.5 points for Kawhi Leonard. That will turn your $5 free ticket buy-in into a $15 prize. That's 15 free dollars. Just all the dollars free for free. MonkeyKnifeFight.com, promo code TANK.
Seemed like a very safe bet to me.
Yeah, because Donovan Mitchell's going to have to carry this team with. Mike Conley will not be 100% even if he plays.
Right.
We saw in Game 1 they don't really have an option to defend him because Ty Lue is just dead set. Kawhi Leonard's not going to guard the best player on the team. Mm-hmm. He's not. They're afraid he's going to get worn out. He won't be the offensive player. So if they do that, it'll be at home when Paul George can be expected to hit water off a bridge.
Yeah,
which he can't tonight.
Yep. One thing we haven't mentioned today yet. Congratulations to Rudy Gobert winning his 3rd NBA Defensive Player of the Year award. He's only one of 4 now, I believe it is, to win at least 3.
He's tall. And he blocks a lot of shots.
He blocks a lot of shots.
I'd like it to be. I'd like to see it more on-ball defender guys winning these Defensive Player of the Year. Mm-hmm. It seems to always go to a.
Well, second place in the voting was your guy
Ben Simmons, who I thought was a terrible defender. That was probably the biggest stick my shoe in mouth effort when I was on actually subbing in for Jeremy on the ESPN radio show. I was like, well, Ben Simmons isn't a good defender. Takes I'm pretty sure he was first team all, and I was like, no, he wasn't. And I looked and I was like, oh, yeah, no, yeah, he's good.
Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah, he's a pretty good defender.
But yeah, I like more on ball defending guys to win that. But in the NBA, it's very very scarce. Mm-hmm. You don't see that too often. So,
anywho, they'll.
I've never doubted you like things on ball. I couldn't help it. He said it twice, and it's like, so help me God if he says it again, I'm doing it.
Yeah, if he does, I screwed up there and dream it. Goodbye.
Oh, what is that, a baseball reference?
Yeah. Oh. Because baseball.
Yeah. I don't watch that because they get mad and throw balls at each other.
They do.
I think that we're
And
going to
sometimes they use foreign substances so they can throw the ball even harder, have more control.
They have funny names like Spider Track.
No spider tack.
Oh, Spider Tack.
Spider tack.
I had to listen to you talk that shit on ESPN yesterday, and after I woke up from my coma.
Yeah, I was listening to that segment, and it was like I almost heard Jeremy snore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I legally died for 3 minutes.
So we're going to be starting a weekly baseball segment on stuff that we do around here so we can appease to a little bit more of the masses with a combination of a bunch of us, but today will be me and Tank.
Yep.
I will happily be sitting at the desk running graphics, combing my hair.
Yeah, and it was going to be called Because Baseball. We have to do it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
100%.
The Sportsocracy presents Because Baseball.
That's right. We'll also have a Speedocracy coming out today as well as we get caught up on all the things in the NASCAR world. Anything you want talked about that we haven't touched on in this program or any other program, give us the heads up. Hit us up on social media. Just fire it away in the comments here on any of the shows, and we will definitely get to what you want to talk about, because we are the Democratic Republic.
We sure are.
Of sports. I'm Tank Spencer. He's Brian Haynes. He's Jeremy Greene. Remember, we won't be in on ESPN Asheville this afternoon because of Braves baseball, but we'll be back on the air tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock, 3 to 5 every weekday afternoon on ESPN Asheville. Heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Of course, we are always here at 9-ish every weekday morning in the Wicked Weed studio for the Sportsocracy. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. We'll see you next time.